Hello, woodchucks and farmers. Welcome back to Oceanside Forest. I have just come from the bird pens. Got to sell all the male chicks. They are all gone and sold. In between episodes, I actually brought the tree harvester over here. This is where the sawmill is. And I want to get this far, as I said before, by next year. So I kind of got myself a little boundary marker going around here. I think it was about maybe 80 trees to cut down through here. But I got a nice little going, so I just need to cut down these that's in here. Maybe we'll get that done before winter. But yeah, the more space I can make, the better. After the barley harvest didn't turn out as well as I was hoping it would, I may have to clear out more than I wanted to over here. But we'll get to what we can get to. So that is all cleared out there. Well, a path anyways. And I got this all cleared out. I may get to plowing this area today. I just want to make sure there are no logs in here. At least I don't think there are. But the main job for today is to get the wheat harvested. Shouldn't take us too long. It's not as big as the field, farmyard field. Which, by the way, if you can see in the distance, we got the lime down and we got it mulched as well. So we're going to start off with the power lines and then go over to the harbor field. And that field is not that big. I should get maybe 120,000 liters off that. Fingers crossed. Now I think I'll get about 40,000 here, give or take. Is it 40,000? I can't remember if it's a combine full for each field, or is it just a combine full in general. Well, one way to find out is, let me go ahead and unload everything. And did I leave myself enough space to get around the JCB? Yeah, looks like I did. Let's unfold the header, which I do believe I just did. And I want to make sure we disable straw swath, which I mentioned about Courseplay, and you guys said I can just disable that. That's not, I thought Courseplay would overwrite what is on the tractor, but apparently not. So maybe I can just go in there and disable the straw swath next time. Always next time. It's not that big of a deal, but it would be kind of nice to know. Usually, I think most of us would want the straw, but here I just don't. We don't need it. We don't need the straw for anything. I don't need the money. It's just a waste of our time currently. So we're just away to harvest. That's all we want to do is plant and harvest. We got to keep those birds fed. But other than that, everything seems to be going okay here in Oceanside Forest. Yeah, just as we saw last episode, a little disappointed in the amount of barley we got off that field. Was it even 600,000? Were we short? I think we were short of 600,000. Yeah, we were short of 600,000. But if we can get 600,000 liters on average off of every field, that's what we need. We need 1.8 million liters. That is our goal. So that field is close, but not well enough. So hopefully by putting down the lime, which we did, that will boost up the yield a little bit. And of course we did the mulching. And next year when we plant, or this fall when we plant, I will roll the field as well. I'm kind of hoping that the hillside field really pulls through, meaning if I can get 800,000 liters off that field this year, that means next year when I go to harvest it, it may drop to like 700,000. So yeah, I mean that field looks a little bit bigger. It's hard to tell. All depends also the kind of soil that's up there as well. If it's got better soil in a more area up there, we should yield a little bit better overall. We'll just keep on going and see what happens. We're not going to really know how we're doing until at the end of harvest next season, which kind of sucks to say it that way, but that's the way it's turning out to be. See, can I get... It kind of sucks that the poles are here, but without the telephone poles being here, electrical poles, these fields wouldn't have been here to begin with. Yeah, I'm just trying to get so I only have to do one pass on the other side of the field, but I don't think that's going to work. I got to keep going around these poles anyways, so it's going to make it to where I got to go. Well, I got to go up, then I got to go back down to the road anyways, right? So I got to go up and go down no matter what I do. All right, let's just stay on this side. We'll use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Let's not make it too complicated by trying to get only one pass done over there. I got my Winter Wolf right over here as well with the trailer. We're ready to go to unload the grain. And yeah, it looks like it's going to be one combine load for both fields. As long as I don't hit the poles. We don't need to be hitting the poles. I am going to make sure I top off the chickens and ducks every month now as well. Because I kind of got lacking in yesterday's episode of American Falls, where I kind of forgot how long the birds could go in between feeding. And I almost lost some birds on American Falls, which, you know, the birds don't cost too much, and that pen over there is rather small. So not that big of a deal. But here, we don't want to be losing our birds. Especially when we got two of our pens the way we want it. One male, 1,999 females. That's the way we want to keep it. The other two pens, they both had offspring overnight, so those pens are slowly growing. I say slowly, but in about a few more months, they will be booming with offspring. 60%. I should unload this right now, because I don't want to get to the top of the hill and have to drive the trailer all the way up there. Not that it's a big deal, because it's not that far. I could use some fuel in this. Spend a lot of fuel putting down the line. I didn't really park in the best spot here for unloading. Let me just... Okay, yeah, hit the pole. I was saying, let's go between the poles. You know, how about we just move the combine? Or maybe I can do it... Yeah, let's... Or that way works too. Spent too long cutting down those trees today. So of course, all the grain, like always, is just going into the silo. It is there to feed the birds for the next upcoming season. So let's see, we're almost at 600. We should be like at 725. Actually, a little bit better than that when we get done today. We should be around 725, 750. I'm going to say 725, 750, somewhere in there. And of course, next year, this field will be a little bit bigger. Yeah, even after I cut down the trees in that little loop that I made, I got to expand the field even more. I think we need to go uphill. But it's a good start. My routine has been wait until after harvest season before we cut down trees, but this year got a head start, so that's how much we cleared out so far. And my goal, kind of, well, we got many goals, but my goal is after next year's harvest, we are at the 1.8 million liters of grain that we need. And then we just got to do one more year just to make sure we can maintain that. And then all of the pens should be full 2,000 of either chickens or ducks. A total of 10,000 birds. As long as we keep that sawmill going, that means we're just clearing up more and more land. And kind of the good thing for me over here, the woods aren't as dense. Meaning there's not a lot of trees clustered together, so I don't have to cut as many. The hillside field, it seemed like the trees were rather close, or closer. So a lot more trees up on the hill than what are over here. I know someone wanted me to do the challenge of cutting down every tree on the map, and yeah, I don't think so. It's taken me this long just to get up where we're approaching 6,000 trees. And I don't know how many trees are actually on the map, or were on the map. I'm going to say probably 80,000. So I'm not even 10% of the way through if I were to say 80,000 trees, right? And that is with an auto-loading logging trailer. Also with the sawmill that can go through the wood rapidly. And of course we got everything on selling, so we don't have to move anything around. All those things to help us get to where we currently are. So these fields I will probably mulch myself and also lime myself. I'm not going to bother liming and mulching these fields yet, because after we expand to our left, I'm going to have to put lime down anyways. So the lime job will probably get done next season, just before we plant the sorghum, which will happen in April. Trying to think back, I think when the first year that we here, the first fall, I think we had a John Deere 7R. Not really sure what we used as a drill, because this was the only open area that we had, thanks to the power lines. Yeah, it seems like a long time ago at this point. So actually those two fields yielded decently, but then again it is wheat. And I'm actually going to put this combine on Courseplay when I get over to the other field, just because I want to see how to switch that over from straw, swath dropping over to chopped straw. I didn't think you could deactivate it on the help menu. I mean, I know you can when you're using it, but I thought when Courseplay took over, because when I set it off on that field, it was on deactivated and Courseplay activated it. So I'll have a look at it again while I'm over there. But I think 95% of the time I would want the straw mostly. Okay, let me go ahead and fold up the header. All right, where's the back end of the trailer for this? So that should attach to that. And if I get this lined up just right, I won't have to move the JCB at all. But maybe a little bit. It should be like right about there. There we go. Alright, let me bring the combine over, the header over. We'll get the combine up and going. And then, while that's harvesting, I'll grab the Winter Wolf will drop off the wheat into the silo. And then we'll head over to the harbor field, as we call it. And we'll help out the combine unload, and then I'll probably take back over. And we'll finish up the harvesting. Then we'll come back over here after harvesting. And then, yeah, I'll make a few passes through here with the Versatile and our plow. And we'll start expanding this. I just want to make sure, like I said, there's no logs there that I may have missed. And also, we can start seeing on the map itself how much we are opening up through the winter months. Alright, let me try to get this header and everything in a decent location here, so we can hook up to it. I think if I just spin around and put it right there, that'll be good enough. Okay, and then drop off the rear of the trailer, off the header. Perfect. Unfold the header. Alright, let me just go into settings. So I want to... Okay, straw swath is disabled as we start. But we need to come down here, create a job. This field right here. I said this field. Must be I didn't click into it. Go in that direction. Yeah, we'll do 2 headlands. 3%, I think that will miss the trees. We got some trees that are kind of close over here. Generate course shouldn't take too long to generate a course. Alright, so I'm just going back there. I also got this over here. Hire worker, clear course, offset, working with. Yes, I don't see the setting there either. Just checking both of them. There's one for a helper menu for the Courseplay and also one that is what we call the standard. Alright, so we should be on to the course. Alright, we're going to switch over. So I cannot turn it off from the help menu anymore. You don't see it there. And I don't see it over here either. Now, I am using the Courseplay that's on the Mod Hub that just got updated about a week ago or so. If you're using the version off the Get It website, maybe that's the difference. I haven't, because that would be off the website. That would be like the very current one that's out. So maybe if you're using that one, that could be the difference. So I don't know where I'm missing the setting. I mean, the straw swath is not that big of a deal. But, you know, if I could just show everyone else how to disable it, that'd be fine as well. Because maybe some people want to know. But it's not on that menu there. And it's not on that menu there. I was seeing if it was a different key bind. But it's not. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what I'm missing. I know there's a couple comments saying yes, you can disable it on Courseplay, but I'm not seeing it there. But that's fine. We'll figure it out at some point. Let me go ahead and let's bring this wheat on over to the silo, because off that field we should get about 120,000 liters, which is a full trailer here. And actually, you know what? Instead of me jumping into the combine, because we've already done the harvesting a little bit ourselves, I think we'll let the Courseplay do that whole field, and we'll just jump into the versatile now, and we'll start plowing this area over here and just start expanding it. Expanding, expanding, expanding. So we won't have a whole bunch of wheat this year, but it counts. The Winter Wolf could use a little bit of fuel. Oh, I'm already at that fuel pump over there. Well, we'll swing into this one and we'll get some fuel here. There we go. Now these fuel refineries I put down are only there to use the wood chips from the sawmill, because I was tired of bringing the wood chips down. And each of those fuel refineries can hold 1 million liters of wood chips. I thought, oh, well, we just need one fuel refinery. Well, I filled that one up, and then the sawmill got full of wood chips again. So I built a second fuel refinery. Now, as you can see, we got 3 fuel refineries. Let me go up here and see if I can catch up to... actually, you know what? I'm not going to be able to unload the combine. Actually, it looks like it might be almost full anyways by the time I get over there. I was thinking, yeah, let's go ahead and load it. But there's not going to be room for me on the side of the field because of the trees, because... I remember when I was making this field over here, you can see I left the trees, one row of trees there by the field and the road. I wanted to leave some trees on the side of the field as an outline, because I didn't want to start clear cutting everything. But as it turns out, it was just going to be more of a hassle. I was trying to go for cosmetic looks, and it just kind of was getting in the way of things. Well, this is good that we got a full combine almost. Or now we do. Yeah, I'll have to reread the comments that you guys made about turning off the straw swath. Like I said, it's not that big of a deal, but maybe some people will want to know. And now I'm just curious. Again, I'm using the Courseplay off the Mod Hub, not off the Get It website. And maybe that's the version difference. I used to update it all the time from there, but then, well, I got lazy. It's just easier to go get off the Mod Hub and just update it while I'm in game. So that's 24,000 liters of weight. So currently, now we should be over 6,000, 600,000, yeah, 634. Yeah, so I'm shooting for another 100,000 liters, which we should get off this field. In a way, I guess it's kind of convenient. All my fields are on the same lot of land, so it's easier to keep track of the yield that we're getting for the year. So I know I kind of complained at the beginning that I wish the land masses were divided up a little bit more, but now I find it nice and convenient just to go click and go, oh yeah, this is how much we harvested this year. Alright, I'll be back to unload you. I'm going to go do some more work like I always do. And I'm going to leave the truck running because I got plenty of diesel, so I'm not worried about it. I need a versatile, which is... Nope. Yep. So we use the versatile to plow now. We use the big bud to drill. So the thing is, what are the odds there's one of those spruce or pine tree tops laying in the bushes here? Birch trees were rather easy to find. Alright, so how close do I want to get to the road? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm the only one that goes up and down the road, and I don't really go off the road too much. Although I probably should leave myself a little bit of space. When I come down off that hill, occasionally I go too fast and don't make the corner and swerve around. But now I have to be a little bit more careful. Okay, that's maybe a little bit too close to the road. But I could always expand the road to the other side a little bit. I have not seen Liberty today. I've been on the map for, I would say, 2 hours now. And I have not seen Liberty at all. Yeah, almost 2 hours. I don't know where they be, but sometimes if I just put food in the dish, they'll come running. I think the dog has a bigger radius that it can walk that I can remember, because I've seen it on the other side of the silo. The food dish is over almost where that New Holland T8 is parked. I've seen him on the other side of the silo. I've seen him up in the field, on the hillside field. Yeah, all around. I also haven't seen any pieces of cheese over here either. But then again, I'm not really going to be touching half of the map, I don't think. I would say half the map is going to be untouched. Meaning I'm not going to be cutting down trees in that area. So to find the other, I don't know, is there 10 or 12 pieces of cheese? And we found 4. Again, I'm not actively looking for the pieces of cheese. If I run across them, I just tell you where they are in case you're on the map and you want to find the other ones as well. So by at least getting the outline of what I cleared so far done, when I go look on the map, it's easier for me to judge how much of the field we have opened up. I can kind of compare it to the other fields and go, oh yeah, so that's going to be about that size. I think I open up enough maybe here to get me like an extra 100,000 liters. And every time I say that, it sounds like a small number. But it kind of isn't when you look at other fields in Farming Simulator. But for what we're doing here, when you're trying to get to 1.8 million, It seems like a small number. Yeah, so when I harvest this field, I definitely got to go from the road up, or else the header's going to have a hard time harvesting the crop, I think. I do remember setting up the map before episode 1 thinking, oh, this is going to be a challenge that, you know, I can just, I don't want to say cruise along on. I was not expecting to be doing a whole lot of off-camera work. I was thinking, okay, how many, you know, liters are we going to need? I didn't test that part. I just figured we're just feeding chickens and birds. We're fine. The combine is full, so let's go ahead and keep that rolling. At least while we're doing this, I can take a quick look at the map itself. Got what? The mulch. The field will be mulched, so this straw swath will be gone. Not that our drill can't just go over it anyways and get rid of it. But this big of a swath could cause some issues, maybe. I think last year with the barley, I think we got like 110,000 liters off this field. The thing is, with a 60-foot header bringing in the crop, it's almost bringing, it's pretty close, but it's bringing in a decent rate that as it unloads, it doesn't seem like it's unloading that fast. There is over 40,000 liters, so 1/3 of what I'm hoping for. I think that pipe is going to fold in. Yeah, I'll get the rest later on. All right, we'll let that go. All right, let's just have a quick look at the outline of what I got going here. So that is kind of like maybe what this is right here. And I'm trying to think, how, you know, I don't remember what I got off that. So this field here, originally, if we can remember this far back, but this area right here was almost clear cut anyways, meaning the modder of the map pretty much only had maybe like 20 or 30 trees in this area that I had to cut down. It was pretty much open. So I don't remember what I harvested off this field the first year. I was going a ways back. And then we had a second field like over here before we got them joined up. I don't remember what we got off that field. That's roughly looks like what we got open so far. But I'm hoping I can get some time to get all that clear cut and have it kind of cleaned out by the time we get to the sorghum harvest, which is next month. So that, I mean, that's a long shot that I'll get that much done. Probably not, but I would like to. The real bonus about where I'm cutting the trees down is the sawmill is just right across the street. It's not all the way up the hill, and I don't have to go down a hill and make a lot of turns, because the logs in the back of an auto-loading logging trailer like to dance around quite a bit and sometimes can cause some issues. So just being right there, if logs fall out, It doesn't bother me as much, doesn't triggers me as much. So it's like, yeah, the log's only right here, the sawmill's only right there. If they fall out, I don't care. I'll get them on my next pass. I also remember, like, the comments, like around episode 3 or 4-ish, somewhere around there. I think when I was planting the power line fields, everyone's saying, it's so dark on the map, so dark on the map. Which it was, I mean, because there's trees everywhere, so no sunlight was getting on through. But now, as we start clearing up more trees and look across the map, of course, it helps when you got lime on a field and you got gravel down as your base pad for your farms. It's getting a lot brighter around here, little by little. Of course, the time of the year is going to make a difference as well. Well, I haven't seen any logs yet. I think I was pretty good at picking them all up. Like I said, the only ones that are going to be that'll be hiding in here are the about 5-meter long logs from the spruce and pine trees. Those are the ones that are 25 meters tall, and our tree harvester is set for cutting the logs at 20 meters, so that leaves the 5 meters for the tips. They're like little toothpicks that can hide in these bushes. So next month, yeah, should be the sorghum harvest. And that harvest will take a while. That might be a 2-episoder. We may just start the episode and we'll get a Courseplay worker on that. And we'll help them out a little bit. Then we'll start cutting down some trees over here, wherever I may be at that stage. And then the second episode, hopefully we'll be finishing up the harvest. Yeah, that's going to be kind of like the same harvest as we had on the farmyard field over here. Fields are generally the same size. But that yield should be pretty good up there, because half of that field up there, that's going to be the first crop coming out of the ground. So the crop rotation is like 115%. But the other half of the field, I think the crop rotation is going to be just at 100%. I've been actually thinking, though, on the birds, as we were going for one male, 1,999 females in each pen. That was because I was trying to get the eggs, but really the eggs are piling up so fast in there. Maybe better if I just left them to do what they want to do. Although they won't reproduce as fast with the males in there, so maybe I'll just keep selling the males and kind of go on that ratio of 1 to 1,999. It's one heck of a ratio, I know, but that's what we got going. Combine is... Why is the combine on this field always going to be at the opposite end? Alright, so this should get us over... Oh, we're almost at 50,000. Okay. And of course the combine holds 24, so we're over 70,000 liters. Yeah, I think it's not going to be over 120,000, that's for darn sure. I'll be happy if I get 100,000 liters off this field. Am I too far? No, just about perfect. So looking at this on a negative standpoint, originally I was hoping for 700,000 liters off the barley field. By the time I get done with the barley and wheat harvest, we're going to be just around the 700,000. Oh, too close to the combine. There we go. Just about empty, almost. There you go, you're just about empty. So the other setting I was looking at for Courseplay, getting back on that for a moment. Stop harvester while it's raining. Alright, after filling some around, I found it. Because I'd done it on a seed drill to turn off the fertilizer. So yeah, I understand what you're saying now by saying you got to be in the combine, but you got to bring up this menu right here, the Courseplay, the symbol with the tractor, and the settings menu, and you got to be in the combine. And where was it? Straw swath, activate, deactivate, headlands disabled, deactivated. There we go. I knew it had to be somewhere around like the same settings as for the drill to turn off the fertilizer. So that will change depending on what equipment you're in, which is kind of interesting. Alright, so at least I finally figured that out. And thanks for all the comments that tried to help me out with that, but we finally got it. Like I said, not that big of a deal, but it is helpful for what we're doing here. And I kept saying to myself, that's got to be a setting somewhere. Oops, I do got one little piece of grass I kind of missed right there. And if I don't get it, that will bug me. Can I get it, please? That should get it right there. Of course, now I'm off course. Whatever. At least the weather's been good for the harvest season. Not much rain going on here. I am kind of curious though, because I always just play for 1 day per month. Leave a comment down below of how many days you play in a month and what you're comfortable with. Because basically all I do is I just speed up or slow down time depending on what I want to do. I don't have the mod where... There is a mod on the mod hub where you can actually pause time. Did they change that in the main game? Base game? No. You can only go down... I don't want to say only can go down. 0.5 is what you can go down to. And up to 360? Yeah. But I do know there is a mod on the mod hub that allows you to actually pause time. And I think you can speed up time by 20,000? Now, as I've seen and explained on American Falls, if you are playing 1 day per month and you're trying to find contracts, the game will spawn contracts right after midnight. And if you're waking up at 8 a.m., like normally I do, a lot of the contracts have come and gone because the game's trying to squeeze a whole month of contracts into one in-game day. So they'll spawn some contracts from like 12 to 6, and then 6 to 12, 12 to 6, 6 to 12. So if you're really looking for contracts to do, you may want to get up like at 4 a.m. or something like that. At least that's what I've been noticing. I don't actually have any 100% facts behind that, but that's the way it seems like it's going on American Falls. So that's why you may be going to bed if you're doing 1 per month like I am, and thinking, okay, that field will be, ready next month for harvest, and you wake up at, 8 a.m. and you go check the field, I'm like, oh, there's no contract there. Then you look at the stats, I'm like, oh, it's already been harvested. That's why some people will say for contracts, you may want to play 2 days. I think most people say play 3 days per month. And then you can just always skip the days if you want to. And it really doesn't change the fact of how much your animals eat or produce. Same thing with production buildings. That's why you'll see stats of, how many cycles per month. So if you play 30 days for a month, you're not going to get more product than the person that plays 1 day per month. The cycles are going to be, just make sure that they're equal for the entire month. I'm kind of hoping I get a Courseplay warning saying that my combine's full again. But I don't think I'm going to get one of those. And actually, I opened up this little section right here faster than I thought I would. Hey, the combine needs to be unloaded. Well, it could be that it's done and it needs to be unloaded, or it actually is full. Fold that back up, please. And we'll let that do its thing. Yeah, looks like the combine is actually done. Is the worker still in there? Yes, Francine's trying to get the extra few dollars that she can. I mean, it is almost full. And we're still going to mulch the field because that will give us the extra, I think as we've been seeing here, like 1, maybe 2% on the yield. But at this point, I'll take the 1 or 2% because it might be kind of close when it comes down to it. Nope, too close to the trailer. Question is, did I hit 100,000 liters of wheat? I don't know. Trailer looks kind of empty, right? Well, I don't say empty, but half full. But I know it's more than half full because we had like 75,000 liters in it. And with the 24 that we got here, it's going to be kind of close to 100,000. Of course, I could just go in here while it's filming and check the stats, right? 710,000. So I was saying 725 and maybe higher. So numbers are not looking that great for me this year. Yeah, the hillside field better give me 700,000 because 4 full pens will take that much. But then again, the 3rd and 4th pen are not full, and they won't be full for a while. So for them to need the max as the other pens do, I could probably get away with like 1.1 million liters harvested this year. Well, I'm going to go put the header on the trailer because the next field that needs to be harvested this year, of course, is the hillside field. And I definitely cannot go down the road with a header on the combine. So let's go ahead and put that and kind of get it all set up for the month of August. I'll get the McCormick over here to mulch the field. Fold up the header, because I always forget to do that, but I've been remembering a little bit every time now. No! It's got to be on the I got to be on the combine to attach that. There we go. Oh, that should be right there. Okay, why isn't that not coming up? Alright, let me get far enough away from it. Maybe I'm in the trigger and that's why it's not showing it to me. Kind of a finicky thing once in a while, that is. Alright, let me just back up the combine. I'll take care of this later on, after I bring the McCormick over here to mulch the field, which won't take me too long to do. or a worker not too long to do. All right, let's get the winter wolf here. Yeah, not just shy of 100,000 liters. Probably if I harvested that little piece right there would have got me. Maybe not. We're like 210 liters short. That's not 210 liters a week. All right, let's go dump this into the silo. Oh, I think I left the JCB running. It's alright, I got plenty of fuel. But I try not to leave my tractors running if I'm not going to be using them. Actually, I probably should have drove through there, but... And yes, you can, with this silo, unload on either side. I just make it a habit to unload from this side, load from the other. So the wheat harvest is over. Just like that. Let's hope the sorghum pulls through for us here. And we should be getting to that next episode. Alright, I think I can leave this right here, because like I said, I'm not going to spread lime on this field over here, because we're going to wait till we expand it. But here's the sawmill, and this is where I got the loop going around. So I should be opening up just as much space here as we open up here. But by next year, I would like to kind of maybe... Yeah, if I could actually get all the way up through the woods here and actually connect with this road, then I can just drive straight across and not really... Well, it doesn't really matter too much, does it? It's not that far. But it would be kind of interesting just to maybe have a road cutting up through here if I wanted to. But yeah, by next year, I would kind of like this field. As we know, I already got to like right about here. But I kind of like to go right alongside this road and connect to the top of this and open up that much. But is that going to be enough? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not the way it's going this year. The yield is just, it doesn't seem to be there. But now that we're mulching and we're going to lime every field after every harvest this time, the yield should get back up to the max of what it can be. And we are working our way there. Slowly but surely. And yeah, I did get all the logs off of here. So far, I've been picking up every log. I don't think I've ever run across yet where I was plowing and a log disappeared out of nowhere. We got them all. So we're all set. Did I leave this tractor running as well? Oh yeah, it was folding on up. Now, let me turn that off as well. But anyways, that's going to do it for today, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the episode. I do appreciate you watching as always, and I'll catch you again right here on Oceanside Forest. But until then, have a good one.